Hello everyone, welcome to the KZGN News. Today we'll bring you news from Washington, news about Clinton's personal email server, today's KZGN Talking Points editorial, and much more.
From the Rademacher Hills to Bee Mountain and the mighty Sierras, Ridgecrest to Inyokern and China Lake, this is your news for the Indian Wells Valley with the KZGN News crew.
Hello, I'm Tom Waiting. Thanks for joining us for the news affecting Ridgecrest and the Indian Wells Valley. Well, in news from Washington, the Senate is now posturing on how to end this session. There's a strong pushback against funding certain things conservatives want stopped. If the government shuts down, Mitch McConnell wants to make sure the Senate isn't to blame. After trying to keep his strategy under wraps for days, the Senate Majority Leader made his first moves on Tuesday to avoid a lapse in federal funding by October 1st. But it's a legislative strategy that still has risks for Republicans and could confront the House GOP with a do-or-die vote right at the deadline to keep the government open. McConnell set up a Thursday vote that would fund the government through December 11th while cutting federal funding for Planned Parenthood and boosting defense spending by $13 billion, an approach favored by conservatives on the right. That legislation will fail due to Democratic opposition, allowing McConnell to argue that the Senate Republicans tried the hardline tactic proposed by Senator Ted Cruz, but it couldn't pass. McConnell could then turn to a clean funding bill that Democrats have promised to support. There's going to be votes to defund Planned Parenthood, but I think given the president's opposition and the Democrats' opposition, at some point I anticipate there will be a clean continuing resolution, Senate Majority Whip John Cornyn told reporters. But that's not the end of the fight over late-term abortions and over Planned Parenthood. But first, McConnell agreed to test Cruz's approach, touting the benefits of a bill that is at bipartisan spending levels and would defund Planned Parenthood and protect women's health by funding community health clinics. And consistent with the GOP leader's tight-lipped nature, McConnell refused to confirm that he will then turn to a clean continuing resolution when the attack on Planned Parenthood fails later this week. In the news about Clinton's email server, the FBI has recovered personal and work-related emails from the private computer server used by Hillary Clinton during her time as Secretary of State, according to persons familiar with the investigations. The Federal Bureau of Investigation's success at salvaging personal emails that Clinton said had been deleted raises the possibility that the Democratic presidential candidate's correspondence eventually could become public. The disclosure of such emails would likely fan the controversy over Clinton's use of a private email system for official business. The FBI is investigating how and why classified information ended up on Clinton's server. The probe probably will take at least several more months, according to the person who described the matter on condition of anonymity, because the investigation is continuing and deals with sensitive information. A review by Clinton and her aides determined that about half of the 60,000 emails she exchanged during her 4-year tenure as Secretary of State were of a personal nature. Clinton said the personal emails were deleted from the server and her staff turned over paper copies of the remaining work-related emails in December to the State Department for processing and archiving. The FBI obtained Clinton's server from the Colorado-based company managing it, so we await more details of these supposedly deleted emails. If classified emails turn up here, the FBI and the White House will have a real dilemma on their hands. Are any of you veterans out there? Do any of you wonder just what services are available for veterans in the Valley? Well, plan on attending tomorrow's Veteran Stand Down. The event starts at 9 a.m. and goes all day. There will even be a pancake breakfast available. It will go on all day Friday. Associated with the event, in a call for volunteers needed, the people coordinating the Veteran Stand Down need volunteers. The event is tomorrow, Friday, September 25th. Last year, the event helped hundreds of veterans get help for services they need. This year, over 60 care providers are participating in the event. The sheer size of the event and the numbers of people coming requires a lot of volunteer help. They need more help. If you're willing to just take a little time to come help the veteran event, they need you. These are people that answer the call from Uncle Sam. Now they need you. To volunteer, call Nick or Carol Coy right away. They can be reached at 760-608-1484 or 760-608-9251. In news from the Desert Oasis Garden Club, they will be holding their annual plant sale this Saturday, September 26th at the Desert Empire Fairgrounds. All the plants for sale will be low water consumption plants and indigenous to the area. These plants are started here in the area. The club members state buying plants that we raised here in the area provides a better chance for the plant to survive the planting. Plants grown out of the area and then imported sometimes go into shock due to the elevation change. This could stunt the growing of and even kill the plant. The garden club is made up of a group of community members with years of experience on knowing what grows in the area. Again, this annual plant sale is on Saturday, September 26th at the Desert Empire Fairgrounds. In more weekend event news, we get this announcement from the Friends of the Library. They are announcing a fall book sale. This book sale helps cover costs for the local library. The sale will be this Saturday, the 26th. It will be in the old Albertsons Shopping Center up north on North Norma Street. It will run from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Library members can come 1 hour early and have first viewing of all the books. Members can start viewing at 9 a.m. Again, this is a book sale to support the local library. It is this Saturday in the old Albertsons Shopping Center on North Norma. It runs from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. And if you can't make this one, they'll have another sale next Saturday, October 3rd. Same place and time. Now stay with us for KZGN's Talking Points editorial when we come back. Thanks for staying with us. Now it's time for the 80th KZGN Talking Points editorial. Here's today's topic. Why are the police guilty of offenses when just one person feels they are treated wrong? But first, a couple comments about last Tuesday's editorial titled, Do any of you believe that extremist terrorists may be in these waves of immigrants coming out of the Middle East into Europe? Well, the only inputs I got on this editorial was from a couple people that I saw in the store. Seems they too are wondering how many extremist terrorists are flowing along with the millions of immigrants flowing into Europe. If those countries are not concerned about this potential problem, they better get concerned. I agree and hope we don't see the day that terror attacks in the more Western countries become a regular event. And I hope this administration doesn't let it happen here in the United States. Now on to today's editorial topic. Why are the police guilty of offenses when just one person feels they are treated wrong? Before I get into this, for the record, I am a volunteer with the Ridgecrest Police Department. And note that I have not discussed this topic with anyone at the police department. This is written totally on my own. Now the editorial. Have you noticed that when someone gets upset with the police, sometimes they make a public declaration of some supposed injustice at the hands of the police, and they just throw it all out for everyone to see? Boy, when I was growing up, the last thing people did was go public with accusations against the police. First, the person that was in trouble really didn't want the world to know about it to begin with. Even if they didn't do what they were charged with, people still wanted to keep it private and quiet. Now people get a beef with the police and the first thing they do is start a rant on Facebook. And sometimes these rants are started when the poster doesn't have all the details. They just get upset and run to Facebook. Maybe because of my age, but I just see this as weird. As many people tell me to have all the facts about a news story, which I try and do, people out there in the world can just go crazy on someone or a group of people with little shame. Now this editorial is not about any particular occurrence. It's about the thought process used by some people to just get upset about something and then run to Facebook and start a public debate. And when the police get accused of something, there are so many people ready to jump on the bandwagon and beat on the police too. In the case of charges against the police, they are now guilty as charged right away. Without even a comment from the police, they are still guilty. And I find it amazing how many people will read an accusation and take it as the whole story and jump on it too. What did that one TV commercial say that was running a couple months ago? Oh yeah, I remember. One person was talking about something totally ridiculous on the internet, and a person asked him, of course, if it's on the internet, we know it has to be true. And the person answered, of course. Catch the satire there? There is so much on the internet that is not true, but so many people think it is. And why are so many people ready to jump on the police when accused? I can say this from my own experience with the police department and the officers. When I went through police training, we were beat on in every class about people's constitutional rights, that the people's rights were paramount. All people's rights, and everyone was to be treated with respect. The decision to take someone's rights away by an arrest was to be considered the highest level of importance. Do not arrest without evidence. Do not attempt to detain a person without probable cause. Keep the peace was important. When I sit at the station and talk with the officers, I have never heard one officer say, well, let's go out and make someone's life miserable today. Or, let's go out and write as many tickets as we can today. Officers don't go on duty to make someone's life miserable. But they do have a different responsibility than the rest of us. When they go to work, they are sworn officers. They swear to uphold and enforce the laws of the city, state, and federal government. To do that enforcement fairly and equally to all. There is no bias toward any particular group of people. Now I know that lately there have been some officers across the country that have done the wrong thing, and those officers should be dealt with severely. But the overwhelming majority of officers just want to do their job and go home at night. But that is the key point. They want to go home at night, just like the rest of us. But remember, they risk their lives every day out there. There is a chance every day they go out on duty that their job could end their life. Sure, the odds are low, but it is possible, and it is a possibility they live with every day of their career. They deserve the benefit of doubt when people attack them publicly. They aren't always guilty as charged. Anyway, next time you see someone going off on the police, give them the same benefit of doubt that you like to be given if you were accused of something. Do all lives matter? Of course. Does innocent until proven guilty matter? Of course. Does fairness to our fellow man matter? Of course. Should we wait to hear both sides of the story before reaching our own conclusions? I believe we should. We all know there are at least two versions of any story. So the next time someone goes crazy on Facebook, bringing charges against anyone, sit back and wait for the details before jumping on. People are innocent until proven guilty. Police are innocent until proven guilty. And most of all, when you decide to publicly ridicule a person or something like on Facebook, the accused has a family and friends that may see it too. Think about how you may be affecting their children, their own parents. If you have a problem with the police, go down to the station and talk to the chief of police. We have a fine chief that will not sweep something under the carpet if an officer does something wrong. He will deal with it. In conclusion, think about how you handle disputes. Do you want to make everything public? If you do, have you thought about the impacts to people that will read them? And is Facebook a good place to levy a tax on someone? I don't think so. Whatever happened to face-to-face contact to handle differences? I'm Tom Winnick, and that's what I think. I'd like to know what you think. If you have any comments about this editorial or would like to discuss or recommend a topic, I'd like to hear from you. Please email them to info@kzgn.net. Now stay with us for weather and sports when we come back.
From the Burroughs High School TV studio, I'm Emily Hickey with the Burroughs Video Bits for Thursday, September 24th, 2015. Let's take a look at how the athletes of the school are doing with the Burroughs Athletics website. Burroughs school newspaper, Blockbuster, will come out with its first edition of the school year on Friday the 24th. This year, our library got over 200 new books, so be sure to give them a visit soon. But books aren't the only thing here we have. We have about 16 new teachers this year. Give them a warm welcome. Zombie Apocalypse is coming back to our school. It's time to sign up for the amazing Zombie Apocalypse race. Pick up your forms in I-4 at lunch or after school. We need all the help we can get to save our school. Remember, you must have 5 people to make a team. You're stronger in numbers. Bee Mountain is being painted for the seniors this Saturday. That's our segment for the Burroughs High School TV broadcast of Ridgecrest, California. This is Emily Hickey.
Thanks for staying with us. Let's go to Keith for the weather.
Thank you, Tom. From the National Weather Service, a low-pressure system and its associated east-west oriented frontal boundary will bring heavy rains to portions of the Great Plains and upper Midwest. This will bring a threat of flash flooding. Temperatures across the nation. Carolinas came in at 77, Georgia 69, Arkansas 75, Northern Texas 67, Arizona 82, and Los Angeles came in at 72. For our forecast here in the IWV, tonight clear with a low around 71, east wind 5 miles per hour. On Friday, sunny and hot with a high near 100, west wind 5 miles per hour. Friday night, mostly clear with a low around 73, southwest wind 5 miles per hour. On Saturday, sunny and hot with a high near 100, northwest wind 5 to 10 miles per hour. Saturday night, mostly clear with a low around 70, south-southwest wind 5 to 10 miles per hour with gusts as high as 15. On Sunday, it will be sunny with a high near 98, south-southwest wind 5 to 10 miles per hour. Sunday night, mostly clear with a low around 69, west-southwest wind 10 to 15 miles per hour with gusts as high as 20. On Monday, sunny with a high near 96, south-southwest wind 10 miles per hour. Monday night, mostly clear with a low around 64, west-southwest wind 10 to 15 miles per hour with gusts as high as 20. And on Tuesday, sunny with a high near 91, south wind 5 to 10 miles per hour. And as a look at your forecast for the IWV, now back to Tom and the rest of the KZGN News.
Thanks, Keith. And now Tom Heck with sports.
And a very pleasant Thursday to everyone. Let's start with a local sports note. Burroughs High School volleyball off to a great start. They're 10 wins and 1 loss so far. They take on Cal City tonight over at Cal City. Now, Michelle Lazaro and her crew will start their league play in the Mojave River League next week. They'll take on Hesperia. Then from there on, all their games will be against league opponents. Now, Burroughs football will be at Barstow tomorrow night. If you can't get to the game, which starts at 7, you can listen on the radio, 6:45 for the pregame on 12:40 a.m. Also, the freshman football team in action this afternoon. They are taking on the freshmen from Barstow High School. Okay, Major League Baseball, the Angels did exactly what they had to do on Wednesday in Houston. They came back and beat the Astros 6-5. Cole Calhoun with a home run. The Angels now, by virtue of that win, only 1 game and a half behind the Houston Astros for the second wild card spot. So what it is, you've got the Angels, you've got Houston, and you've got the Twins all fighting for that last playoff spot. Now, the Yankees already have clinched the top playoff spot, but the other 3 teams still with a chance to get to that 1-game take-all, which will be probably against the New York Yankees at New York. Okay, the Angels are idle today, but they will play tomorrow at home, 3 games against the Mariners, and they'll have to face one of the best pitchers in baseball, Felix Hernandez, on Friday night at the Big A. Now, the Angels, after they play Seattle, will play 3 games against the Oakland A's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. They'll hit the road. They'll play the Texas Rangers Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. That's next weekend, a week from this Friday. And the Rangers right now are 4.5 games in front of the Angels in the American League West. Now, the Angels have every game is crucial for them, as it's a do-or-die situation with the Twins a half a game in front of the Angels right now. So it's going to be a really fun last weekend. 4 games at Texas against the leading Rangers. And the Rangers came out of nowhere. Who would have thought what they have done this year would have ever happened? Okay, Minnesota and Cleveland. Minnesota wins again. The Twins, as I mentioned, are only 1 game back of Houston for the wild card right now as we speak, and a half a game in front of the Angels. Also, Pittsburgh wins. They beat Colorado. The Pirates now 32 games over 500. Most divisions, you're the champion. Not so in the Central. They trail the Cardinals by 4 games. The Cardinals have 96 wins as they defeat the Reds last night in St. Louis. So, a 4-game lead for St. Louis, with the Cubs only 6 games behind. The Cubs also playing great baseball. Okay, Toronto beat the Yankees in Toronto, so they're now back to 3.5 game leading in the American League East. and Detroit beat Chicago in a meaningless game. College football note, UCLA, which beat BYU 24-23, a come-from-behind win, will go down to Tucson and take on a very good U of A team, the University of Arizona. Now, U of A put up 77 points against Northern Arizona University Saturday night in Tucson. USC will be at ASU. That's a game it's hard to predict. SC lost to Stanford. They're now number 18 in the country, and Stanford will be at Oregon State. That's your sports for this Thursday. I'm Tom Heck for KZGN.
So that's the news for today. All of us at KZGN-TV know you have a choice in what you watch for your news. We want to thank you for choosing KZGN-TV, Ridgecrest's only locally owned community TV station.